on to the Green Warriors tonight, where discarded fashion from the US, Europe and Asia often finds its way to Kenya, where it has become a dumping ground for textile waste. The textile waste created during the garment production process is a largely overlooked environmental issue. On this week's episode of Green Fix, we talk to Elmar Stroomer, the co-founder of Africa Collect Textiles, on what and why upcycling is key. Take a look. Worldwide, an estimate of 60 billion kilograms of footwear, of course, and textiles is lost, either burned or landfilled. And this particular problem is one of the key contributors to climate change. So we've got someone here in the country that is trying to reduce the impact of textiles on climate change. And for that, our Green Warrior tonight, we have the co-founders of Africa Collect Textiles. That is Elmar Stroomer. He is one of the co-founders. Thank you so much for joining us on Green Fix. So we are highlighting the impact that you've had on the textile industry in the country when it comes to recycling, when it comes to upcycling. So firstly, before we get you to say anything, I just want you to focus on what's happening behind here, because this right here grabbed my attention immediately. This is woven, and of course it's recycled, right? So maybe you can start off by telling us what exactly this is, and of course what Africa Collect Textiles is and what you do.
Yeah, sure, and thank you for having us. So we are collecting used textiles and footwear for reuse and recycling. What you see here is a rug made out of denim. We tend to apply typical Kenyan skills like basket weaving, rug weaving or tailoring to process fashion waste into new products.
Wow.
And so this is a woven rug, so we cut basically denim or jeans into strips, sort them on color,
wow,
and make these tapestries out of it.
So this is primarily made from denim?
Yes.
Beautiful.
So we also do a lot with khaki and corduroy, so there's a lot of colors that we actually can apply. But
amazing.
Yeah, we do a lot with denim because it is strong and we have a lot of it.
Yeah, of course. All right, Elmar, maybe you can start off by telling me what exactly Africa Collect Textiles is, when you started off, and why exactly it's so important for other people who are watching this at home to be able to do something and to be able to give back in terms of the environment and, of course, creating job opportunities as well.
Yeah. So yeah, we are ACT. We have 40 collection points where people can drop off clothing.
Wow.
We also collect uniforms, offcuts, and sometimes we buy leftovers or overstock from Gikomba.
Okay.
Basically unsold second-hand clothing. So what we do is we sort everything out, make sure that the wearable items can be worn again.
Okay.
So some of them are donated to an orphanage, only the fitting ones. Some of them go to a reseller program where we supply around 50 women that usually have difficulties accessing good quality mitumba from abroad.
Okay.
We supply them with small batches, not like big 50-kilo bales, but with small batches that they can resell and make money on.
Okay.
And there is a lot of advantages of by reusing and recycling textiles in Kenya or in Africa, basically in all nations. Because indeed it makes better use of what is already there. Not all mitumba has to come from abroad. Reducing the dependency on mitumba has a lot of advantages because basically the value is kept here.
Yes.
So many people can have jobs in reselling or recycling and upcycling, even marketing and sales, in design.
Yeah.
So what we try to do is basically to kickstart a textile collection and recycling sector, whereby different types of materials are finding a new destination or a new application.
Okay, brilliant. Elmar, maybe you can tell me what exactly inspired you and take me back to the moment that you decided this is what I want to do. I want to do this, and I want to really do it with a passion, because I believe you're very passionate about the environment. So maybe you can tell me what was that moment that you clicked and you were like, okay, this is something that I need to do and I'm going to do it right now, and take us back to that moment.
Yeah, that's a long time ago actually, and so I'm from the Netherlands. I'm Dutch,
Yes.
and I worked for a Dutch collector, and I got to understand basically the other side of mitumba.
Okay.
And so the Netherlands has one of the biggest or highest collection rates in the world.
Okay.
About half of what is being used is being collected clean and dry. There are more than 10,000 collection bins in the Netherlands, and a lot of people, they donate clothes.
Yes.
And the majority of those materials eventually end up in African countries and in the form of mitumba. And the profits of mitumba are funding charities, city councils, and also the recycling infrastructure.
Okay.
So at some point we thought, okay, that it's great that people are reusing leftovers of the global north or from Europe or Canada or the US, but what then? And so there is an end, and all those items eventually end up in bad places.
Yes.
The landfills,
Or they're
rivers,
burnt.
they're burnt in the outside,
Yeah.
not even for energy.
Yeah.
And we thought fashion can never become circular this way. If basically the most materials end up in nature or worse. And we believe that Africa needs to be included in the circular transition.
Yes.
Otherwise, it doesn't also make sense to design clothing with recycling in mind,
Yeah.
which is costly and complicated. And we would like to influence or inspire big brands to apply eco-design and design clothing with the end of life in mind. And for that, clothing needs to be collected clean and dry
Okay.
for it to be recycled or even biodegraded or composted. And we want to kickstart and grow textile collection, sorting and recycling infrastructure in countries that do not have enough yet.
Yes, yes. Elmar, currently, maybe you can tell us more about Africa Collect Textiles as an industry. How many people have you employed over here? And take us back to your journey, in the sense, when did it start? And how long has it been since its conception? Are you profitable yet? That's the golden question.
Yeah, that is not yet. The problem with textile recycling is that it requires a lot of infrastructure.
Yes.
So we have currently 40 collection points
Okay.
in the junction, village market, in universities, in banks. And we also need to inspire or create awareness for textile separation, or to make sure that textiles do not end up in the normal trash.
Yes, yes.
Because we can only sort and recycle them when they are collected clean and dry. Once they are mixed with coffee or oils, then it becomes too costly to process them, and they are basically lost. So it took us quite some time to build that infrastructure, and collecting alone or creating awareness among people that textiles need to be donated separately, that is not profitable.
Yeah.
So that's why also a lot of charity organizations do that. And also the sorting and the upcycling, it needs a lot of time to grow, to develop the right products, to find also the right prices and the right market fit, and create products that actually people want to buy.
Yes.
For the right reasons, because we don't believe that people would only buy products because they are recycled. They need to also be nice and to look great in interiors.
Of course.
And or on your back.
Yeah.
So it took us a long time to find out how a contextualized textile collection and recycling system should work.
Yeah.
Because also we cannot just copy paste, even though we are cherry picking some ideas and some technologies from other countries, but we cannot just copy paste one-on-one the textile collection recycling system from the Netherlands or from
Yes.
Germany or from
Yes.
Canada, because those are dependent
Yes.
on selling mitumba to African countries. So to make it viable economically, we are more dependent on recycling and upcycling.
Okay.
Which is in some countries subsidized or funded by the incomes from mitumba trade. So this is a big challenge, and this is also a reason why many African nations are not yet collecting and sorting and recycling textiles, because it's much more complicated to actually make it work. But we believe that it is possible, also because there is a lot of skills, there's a lot of knowledge, there's a lot of crafts available that can be of use, and but we do need to crack the code. We are already collecting for more than 10 years. Our first collection bin is at the village market. And,
wow, 10 years ago.
Yes, and we had a lot of ups and downs, and we got a bit. We also had other jobs. We were doing it besides our regular jobs, and just before COVID, we got some funding from Doen Foundation to grow the collection network and to develop more products, basically. So yeah, just before COVID, we were able to grow it.
Okay. You are really helping in terms of the reduction of the textile waste that we're currently seeing in the country. You know, when I Googled Africa collects textiles, you are actually one of the top recyclers and upcyclers of textiles, and of course this is something that you should be very proud of, because you are really helping reduce the impact of climate change, or that textile have on climate change. So for you, what is your long-term vision in this sense, and what do you want to foresee for Kenyans to be able to consume recycled products more? Because we do know that recycled products recycled clothes, for instance, are much more expensive than fast fashion. So what would you like to tell Kenyans who are watching on how they're able to consume and adapt to wearing clothes that are sustainably sourced and made?
Yeah, so one of our goals is to make slow fashion or upcycled products more accessible and more affordable. Because indeed there is a huge gap
in the pricing.
Yeah, some people believe that upcycled or recycled items are very cheap compared to new items because the material was sort of for free. But it is actually much more complicated because we need to clean them, we need to wash them, or we need to remove the buttons and the zippers. We need to cut out the parts that are actually useful. When you make a new garment or a new item, you could just open the roll and start cutting.
Yes.
So the pre-work it's much higher, and the cost for labor and transport is just more complicated.
Of course.
So upcycled and recycled products are usually rather expensive, which is surprising for many. And so we are trying to do something about that, basically by scaling up.
Okay.
And we need bigger orders for that. And so it is also, our orders are still very small, and to jump to different projects doesn't also make it easier or make it cheaper.
Yes.
So also a good example is our school bags.
Yeah.
Instead of we're now looking at how can we compete with imported school bags.
They're lovely though. They look great.
Thank you. Yeah, so a school bag, an important one, they usually cost around 1,500 shilling.
Yes.
So we try to match that price.
Okay.
And basically have a win-win situation whereby waste or uniforms that are normally being burned or landfilled are being processed into school bags, so that we also keep the value here and do not throw away money to other nations that bring in lesser quality school bags.
Okay.
So it is about design, it is about scale, and step by step we want to grow our capacity. Yeah. And I mentioned that other nations have a certain collection rate. Some people, some countries are on 10-20%. So that means that 20% of all clothing or textiles that are being used and are being discarded are collected clean and dry. And we want to build systems in the next 3 years that can process 1 million kilos per year.
Wow.
And
currently, how many kilos do you process per year?
Well, we are currently, I think, almost at 100,000.
100,000 kilos.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that is, if you look at what is coming in, so the mitumba only, and then you also have other new items or locally produced materials. But if you only look at the mitumba, it's around 200 million kilos.
Wow.
So our
in Kenya?
Yes.
200 million kilos of mitumba.
Yes. That is coming in every year. And of course, people are wearing that, but it is becoming waste at some point.
Eventually.
And, yes. So whether it is ripped or it is stained or people are growing out of it or children are growing, it's at some point it is waste.
Yes.
And we want to develop or increase our capacity to within 3 years to 1 million kilos per year. And that would mean that the collection rate of Kenya would be 0.5%. So that is still rather low. But we see it as an example.
Yes.
We have a blueprint. We try to convince or prove how textile collection and recycling can work in Kenya.
Okay.
And if it works, if we manage also to keep it sustainable and not too much dependent on funding, we believe we have a very good case to replicate that model in other cities, in other countries.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much. That has been Elmar Stroomer, the co-founder of Africa Collect Textiles, with us. We are currently in their workshop, in their go down, and we're seeing a lot of beautiful products that they've made, which is why you need to be able to support them. It's at Africa Collect Textiles on all social media.
Yes.
Yes, that's how you can find them. And of course, if you want to contribute, if you want to also donate, they can. Yeah, feel free to do so. If you have any old clothes or clothes that your children have grown out of, anything that you want, you can also donate to them, and they'll be able to recycle that particular piece of clothing to something better and for a better use. So yes, thank you so much for talking to us. Keep up the good work, and we really do hope to see more of what's happening in this particular building right here. All right, and with